Tankers, welcome back to my videos. Today I'm going over the French Tier 9 Medium Premium Tank, this being the AMX 31 prototype, or I like to call it the Baguette. It's just got a very odd shaped turret, so I like to call it that. Now this tank, I'm going to go over the statistics first, as well with some great gameplay and how to run it, and as well as how to take it out. Now, starting off, this tank has a very, very healthy hit point pool of 1650. I would suggest to run the hit point buff, bringing it up to 1750. You can see I'm running here, which is almost tier 10 hit points. Not to mention, this tank gets a very healthy view range of 302 meters with a damage per minute of 2800. Now, the damage per minute isn't spectacular, but it is pretty good, judging that it has this great gun mounted on it. And if you don't know what this gun is, it is pretty much the Tier 8 AMX 50-100 gun, which is an autoloader, except this gun is changed into a single-shot gun, and it pulls out 232 penetration, which I'm pretty sure is exactly the same as the 50-100. But the shell velocity is very nice at 1000, and the rate of fire is a 6.65 second reload. Now mine is 7.2 because I am running calibrated, which brings your standard pen up to 244 and your APCR to 276, just giving you enough penetration to pretty much pen a mouse from the front. Now this tank has a base aim time of 1.9 seconds with a dispersion of 0.326. Now the dispersion is quite poor, but the gun's aiming time is super quick, as you can see, almost always aimed in. So it evens out very nicely, and I actually find this gun to be super accurate. As you can see, I'm turning this barrel all over, and that aiming time just barely even gets big. So I do find this gun extremely accurate when it is in use, as you can see right there. Now, the gun depression on this tank is 10 degrees, which, as you know, is very good. It is the best in the game. You can pretty much get at the higher tiers, as well with a gun elevation of 16 degrees. This tank's turret traverse speed is 48.60, and the track traverse is 65.61, which means that this tank can turn on a dime. It can turn super quick, pretty much follow down anybody trying to flank it. This tank can go 23 backwards, which is also pretty quick. It's much quicker than most tanks, probably one of the quickest in the game. And this tank has a 26.24 power to weight ratio and has very good terrain resistance. And it's not a very big tank, which gives it a camo rating of 22.5%. So in total, this is a very, very, very good tank. Personally, I do really like it, and what sets this apart from the Leopard is the turret actually has some armor. I'm not going to show the armor profile just because it's nothing special, but the turret, the gun mantlet makes it about, I'd say 300 to 400 thick if you hit anywhere within that gun mantlet. Not to mention, if you hit the cheeks of the turret, it's still about 200 thick. It is an easy pen on the cheeks of the turret, but really that gun mantlet is almost impenetrable. And as you can see, if I am to pause the replay after I shoot here, that gun mantlet takes up quite a bit of the tank. So when you're aiming at this tank, that gun mantlet, that whole thing there is 300 thick, and the top of the turret is pretty much an auto ricochet because it's a very steep angle. So really penetrating this tank when it's using its very sleek turret on 10 degrees of gun depression is almost impossible, which makes it so you can actually push quite aggressive with this vehicle. And you can see that it has very nice penetration too, penning right through the side of that Jagdpanzer. And you'll see he'll face the front of me in a bit, and I'll go right through his lower plate just to show how good the penetration is. And the issue with this game, I could have probably pulled out 4,000 to 5,000 damage, but we do have base capture going on. I have no clue what their team's doing, judging that they have 6 tanks in their team and we have 4 on ours. They could easily be going after that base capture. Instead, they are, I don't even know what they're doing, to be honest, but they're not doing it great. We got one lucky shot right into the cupola of that tank, taking 256 off him. We've broken 2,000 damage now. The Jagdpanzer's aiming at us. I know we out-reload him, so I'm going to back up now. I know he has the shot. And now the base capture's at 85. I didn't want to win on base capture. I wanted to see how much damage I could pull out, so I told the red enemy, what are you doing? Their base capture's at 95. And they had a bat shot on the team. It's not like, yeah, I have no clue what they did, though. We could have easily done a lot more damage this game. To be honest, the enemy team was just not the smartest move. But in the end, you can see we pulled out 3,036 damage. And what's nice is that this is a premium, which means it earns pretty good credits. Without premium, I earned 26,000. With premium, I probably would have earned about 56,000. We did pretty good. 14 shots fired, 10 of those penetrated, 12 hitting. So not a very bad accuracy rating. You can see best on the team. In total, I really do like this tank. But let's get stuck in that second replay. Now, we are on Canyon, which is probably the best map in the game, other than Dead Rail, I would say, for this type of tank. And the reason being is because I'm going to rush up to the center hill, and I'm going to use my 10 degrees gun depression, really forcing the enemy to try and hold off against me, but they're not going to be able to penetrate my turret because it's such a strong turret. However, they do have an AMX 30 prototype in their team, but they do not push it correctly. Now you can see my dispersion really just hated me there, hitting the rock in front of that guy. That is what this shell can sometimes do, but you can still see that aiming arc is not very bad. I mean, not the aiming arc, the aiming circle. Now, you saw when I was aiming at the turret of that guy, it is a very hard target to penetrate. You can see it's pretty much all red when aiming at it. And that is what makes that tank super hard to penetrate. But you can see here I'm going to try and use my gun depression to best of my advantage here. Unfortunately, that leopard does get a shot at me, and I think he does get one more. But right now, I am going to focus this T69. Boom, right into the side, snap it. This tank is great at snapping shots off. Now, if you do want to take out this tank, don't let it use its gun depression. If this tank is in a hull down position with its gun depression and you can only see its turret, don't push on it. It will eat you alive, and you'll probably bounce 50% of your shells. The best way to take out this tank is to get to its side, load the high explosive, and boom, you have whipped off half of its hit points. Any tank destroyer at tier 8 or 9, 10 can pretty much tear apart this tank with high explosive, taking off, 1,000 hit points if you have a 640 average damage gun. Because the sides of this tank are only about 30-40 thick, which means even at the best, you're still going to be penetrated by the tier 8 medium tanks with high explosive. So really keep your sides, if you do want to get this vehicle, keep your sides away from pretty much everything you want to only show your front. Because the front of this tank is about 140, 130 thick. It's not that bad. So you can actually get some lucky bounces, and high explosive will not go through the front of your tank. And the side actually has some spaced armor. It's not a lot, but it does actually have some, so you can get a lucky bounce there too. Now, you can see we picked up 2,200 damage, just finished off that leopard, 2,361. And you can see this tank is just a amazing gun. I really do like the tank. And I know it's, I think, about $35 US dollars on the store right now, so if you're from a different country, I'm not sure how much that is for you, but I know it's 35 US dollars. And personally, I do think that's not a bad price. Now, I wouldn't suggest to spend the $40 bundle. Really, getting the equipment slots is a waste, especially with the ugly camo it gets. You can get your own equipment slots on the tank for free if you just have 1 million credits or whatever. And really, though, $35 isn't that bad of a price, judging that some tier 8s when they first come out are $50. I really would suggest to pick it up. It's not in crates, which means it's not bad in my books. It did first come out in crates. That's how I managed to pick it up when it first came out. But really, I think this is a great tank, great for beginners, great for any player that wants to get some experience with mediums in the game. This is a great medium. It is very forgiving with its large hit point pool and great turret armor. Just in general, I really do like this tank. And let's take a look at the post-game stats. You can see 3,008 damage, 20,000 credits again, with premium probably 50,000 credits. We fired a total of 13 shots, 10 of those penetrating again. So you can see if you penetrate 10 of your shells, you'll do an average damage of around 3,000, with 11 of them hitting. You can see, though, it's just a very nice tank. Again, best on the team. This was a very nice matchup. When you are in a tier 8 matchup, you can pretty much dominate any tier 8 medium easily. You have so many more hit points, about 400, 300 more than the next tier 8 medium. So really, in general, I really like this tank. I would suggest to pick it up, but that is up to you. If you're not a huge fan of the Leopard line, then I wouldn't suggest to get this tank. Thanks for watching my video, though. Please make sure to subscribe. I have a Discord if you want to send me your replays. I'll leave that in the link below. Thanks for watching.